Member-supported Hawaii Public Radio, All Things Considered on HPR1, and I'm Dave Lawrence. We have a fun guest returning to the show today. He is going to be at the Blue Note Thursday through Sunday, December 15th through the 18th. Thursday and Sunday are 8 p.m. shows. He's got a Friday and Saturday, 6:30 and 9. He's going to be doing 2 shows those nights with his beautiful and talented wife, Lonnie Hall, joining us to talk about that, plus his latest album, Human Nature. Herb Alpert, aloha, and mahalo, Herb.
Hey, Dave. How are you?
I am very good, brother. Thank you for asking. How about yourself?
Good. Yeah, I feel good. I'm doing what I love to do. I paint, I sculpt, I make music. I wake up in the morning excited about what I'm going to do next.
Sure, a lot of people are looking at the radio going, how do I get that?
Well, you got to be passionate about what you're doing. I'm a lucky guy because when I was 8 years old, I had this opportunity to pick up the trumpet in a class in my elementary school, which was pretty unique, and I don't think it's available that much anymore. But there was a table filled with instruments and tried to make a sound out of it. I couldn't do it. I was just blowing hot air into it. But when I finally did make the sound, it was talking for me, doing what I couldn't do. I was very shy as a child, and so this trumpet was, talking on my behalf.
Opened doors for you in a way that regular conversation wouldn't.
Well, it opened major doors for me. I mean, I always feel I'm very fortunate. Timing plays such a big part in an artist's life. And when we started A&M Records in 1962 with the Lonely Bull, the timing was perfect. But if we tried to start A&M Records now in today's environment, I don't think it would have succeeded.
That leads me to Human Nature, your latest record, and what you were talking about, which is trying to sell music that's recorded in this modern era. How'd you come to cover what he didn't write it? It was written for him. Steve Porcaro, John Betta's song "Human Nature," which became the title track of the record. What led you to do it this way?
Well, I always like that melody. When I hear a melody that kind of haunts me, I try to find a way to do it that it hasn't been done quite that way before, because you're not going to compete with the Michael Jackson record. So that's what I've always tried to do. When I take a song that has a familiar melody, I try to make it my own.
On that note of MJ, Superstar Cat, you have any good Michael Jackson stories from your long, illustrious career?
Well, I met Michael. He was a sweetheart of a guy. He was very gentle. He was a great artist. He could draw. He could write great songs.
When did you meet him? What's the story?
He recorded some things at A&M. He just happened to be there one day, and he was good friends with John McLean, who worked in the A&R department. They went to school together. People, I don't know if they really appreciated the talent that this kid had. I mean, he was extraordinary. And I think there was always an advantage of guys and girls that could dance. There's a certain thing about when these dancers made records. They always made that record in a groove that made it comfortable for you to move. They tried to suit it so they could move themselves, and then when they moved themselves, they were moving a lot of other people at the same time.
That's a great way to describe it. It's kind of like James Brown. That's the only other guy like Michael I can think of who had that.
James Brown certainly had that.
Kind of developed your sound, too, on Human Nature. There's a real electronic feel on this. Are you using sequencers and drum machines and stuff?
Oh, yeah. I'll throw in the kitchen sink, too. Whatever it is. It's like I like to play.
You were able to have huge success covering Burt Bacharach before you got Burt Bacharach and Hal David's Alfie.
Well, I had a backlog of songs in my head, standard songs, and it seems like I get haunted by songs like Burt's Alfie. Obviously heard that in the 60s, but there was something about that melody that always haunted me, and I always wanted to try to do it. And I finally found a way that I think is pretty unique, and I remember playing it for Bert over the phone, and he loved it, so I went straight ahead with it.
You got these shows coming up, Blue Note.
I like that intimacy. Years ago I used to play with the Tijuana Brass for 20,000 people. In fact, we played at the HIC a couple of times. You never really felt the feeling. You'd look out over the crowd, and sometimes it was really dark, and you couldn't really see. You just see people lighting up a cigarette in those days. But playing in these smaller venues, you're right on top of everybody, and I don't know, it's a different feeling. It's much more personal. I really enjoy it, and so does my wife, Lonnie, who, by the way, don't tell anybody, but her real name is Leilani.
You told me that before, right? Herb, as he also told us last time he was on, has a place here in the Honolulu area. So
we've had a place for a while. We love the islands and always look forward to being there.
What do you call this? Your second home? Is that what this is?
Oh, yeah, it's our second home. And mid-December is our anniversary. We're going to be celebrating our 43rd third wedding anniversary while we're playing at the Blue Note, so it's going to be fun for us.
Looking forward to seeing you, too, when you're in town and spending a little bit of time with you. Hopefully we can have you come by the radio station when you're
Dave.
in Honolulu.
Nice talking to you always.
Pass along my very best to the missus, and I will see you in just a few weeks, it's going to be.
All right, Dave. Nice talking to you, man. Hooey ho. Hi, everybody. This is Herb Alpert. Don't even think of touching the dial. You're with my good friend Dave Lawrence, so he's on public radio, and it's a delight to be with him, so don't go anyplace.